go. All right, so welcome back to the Rusty Dusty Picker channel. This is the place where we make unique, one-of-a-kind creations out of rescued, inexpensive or free or garage sale items and yard sale items and estate sale items and the like that otherwise would be filling the landfills. And we create something, sometimes sell them, sometimes don't. So what I'm holding up here is an old washboard. It's a small one. Looks like a piece of advertising. Can barely see it. It was Colonial Color, perhaps, maybe a paint company or whatever. And the other side is National Washboard. I guess that's who used to make these washboards. So I'm going to try, in my head, I think I'm going to try to make something patriotic. I'm going to try to make this side, get it into frame, into an American flag type of a thing, sideways. So when it's done, it will be, if this thing were to be, let me adjust, if this thing were to be hanging, the flag would be essentially draped this way. And what I'm going to do, partially for the red stripes, I'm going to use these red buttons I came across for $1 for the whole bag, and they're kind of cool. You can see they are, I should know the word for that, and I don't. Anyway, so we're going to do the stripes in these buttons. I'm going to whitewash this with an off-white. I'm going to have a blue square here. Then I'll have the red stripes, an odd, you know, I have to make sure that there's an odd number of stripes so it starts and ends with red. It doesn't have to be 13. And then I'll figure out something for a star or stars up here. So I just want to give you the heads up. That's what I'm going to try to do. This is, you know, uncharted territory, but we'll, you know, we'll see what we can do. So we'll be back. What I'm going to do now off camera is tape this off and get it a white background. All right, so okay, I've taped it off now, and I've mixed you know, an off-white paint. It's actually a khaki mixed with an equal amount of vanilla, just to be just a little darker. If you notice here, I don't necessarily need to incorporate them perfectly with the golf tee. I just swirl it for a bit. Actually welcome that it will look irregular and not perfect, so I will either fast forward through this so you can see, or I will just edit and cut and come back. So that's all I did. I simply taped off this perfect or imperfect square that we're going to make into a flag. So I'll just do the edges first and then come back and fill the inside. So try not to do, you know, I try to dab paint on. As some of you know, I do not like to brush paint on typically. Sometimes I do. Stain, of course, I will with the grain, but I want to give it more of an aged look, and that's why we use an off-white and mixes of darker and lighter whites, just so that they look a little older. So we'll come back when this is done and dry, and then we'll remove the tape and check it out. Very good. So we are dry now, so take the masking tape off. Like so. You can see how that came out. And like I said, the flag will drape this way. I guess we're going to have the blue up here. Okay, so that's cool. Alright, so we're good. I'll just give you an idea. I'm going to start with the buttons down at the bottom here. So we'll figure out how many it takes to go across and how well they fit. Well, that was a pretty good guess, huh? Look at that. Alright, so it fits really well. So we'll just come just a 1/8 of an inch off of the edge, and there's a stripe. So we'll do one, then white, then red, then we're going to leave this white there. Red, white, red, white, red, white, red, white, red. Yeah. We'll see how that works out. But let me start gluing. Once again, I'll tape for the blue in here. Somewhere, yeah, probably somewhere right up in here. So we're gonna have the reds filled in there. So it'll work out good. We'll figure it out. All right, so I glued the first row there. So yeah, didn't have any interest in worrying about lining up the buttonholes. I like that it's varied through there. So I hope you can see in the shadows. So yeah, now I just have to figure out how to get these stripes, an odd number of stripes. These buttons, I still can't figure out what the name of the pattern would be. I think it's like, I want to say tarpon, but that's a fish, or tartan. But anyway, they look like a kilt that somebody playing bagpipes would be wearing, or a Christmas sweater, or some interesting socks. Anyway, who cares? Let's figure this out. So I measured this. I think it's 8 inches or so. So we're looking at 8 inches internally here. A little less. And this is about 3/4 of an inch. So we're looking at 10 or 11 stripes. So I guess what I'm going to do is I need to borrow a little bit from the white. So the white won't be quite as wide as these buttons are. And hopefully it works out. But figured I'd tell you how I'm gonna do that. So next step is I'm gonna tape this off, and we're gonna do the blue, because that will define where I put the stripes below it and beside it. So let me tape that off and jump ahead. Great. So we're all taped off now, and it's time to do some blue. It's a navy. This particular one calls itself Real Navy. So they're not kidding around. That's supposed to be the real deal, I guess. Whatever the heck that means. So I guess the fake Navy can sit one out. Let's just do this real quick, and then I'll get back to getting some more of these buttons done while this is drying. And maybe show you a little bit of how I'm gluing them on. It's nothing all that fancy. So, as usual, some of my last applications of paint are kind of thick, and you want to give it a little texture, so you just go an amount, a nice amount of paint on the edge of the brush, and then very lightly applying it so that it's giving texture on top of the more aggressively or smoother dabbing that I was doing. All right, so that's simple as that. So that's where the blue's going to be, and we'll come up with some rendition of star. Maybe I have a rusty dusty star or two or more to put in there. Otherwise, we'll figure something out. Okay, so I'm trying to tiptoe my way through the spacing here, and I think we're good. Everything on here, other than these have all been glued so far. But I'm doing the last 2 rows below the blue, which you'll see still drying. I'm doing both of these rows at the same time so I can actually see the spacing as I go, because I knew it would be close. So, but I think, I think we're good with that. So once again, I've got the glue poured out in a line, and so I just roll it on, roll it off, over and over again, just like that, onto the button. Try not to make a mess, and then place it, each one. So I figured I'd show you that. I think we're good with the spacing down here. Up here I have to, hopefully it works out just as well. All right, so here we go. Looks like we're gonna have room for 4 more rows up here next to the blue area. So, and that should pretty much match up spacing wise. So none of these have been attached yet. So let me get to work doing that. I'll do a couple here. All right, so that's 1 more row. So just wanted to show you how we're going to do it, and I'll get moving on the rest. All right, so we've got the glue drying here on the last couple of rows of buttons. Once again, I could care less about the number of stripes. It's supposed to look like a homemade backwoodsy rendition using buttons, for crying out loud. So what I've been doing while I'm waiting for this to dry is I'm using a little bit of sandpaper, and I'm just kind of dusting, getting this blue area just a little dusty. I just make it look a little more worn than it is. You know, in one direction, straight across. And just pull a little bit of that paint out. All the way through. Just give it that dusty, well-worn look in some of these areas. It doesn't take much, but it does add. It looks really good once it, once we spray it and seal everything. I'm going to seal this entire piece, by the way. I'm just to preserve everything. This whole, all the wood and everything will have some protection on it in case it's outside, and also, once again, just to protect it. So, almost just flipped it over to show you the back, but these aren't dry yet, so I need to chill. All right, be back. All right, so we're pretty much dry on the buttons, I hope. So yeah, this is what I figured I'd do. I've got a couple of these rusty stars still laying around. I like to buy them in bulk because they're fun to work with. So we have this guy here, and let's just use 1 star right there. And like I said, I'm going to spray it. I'm going to have this thing nice and sealed up. Everything will pop a little bit, and I think that's pretty cool looking. And then, of course, it's going to be, it will stand vertically. Or, it actually can be hung this way as well. And on the back, I've got a little bit of a smaller star. And I'm just going to be very, very simply, I was, you can get it out, Kev. I was fooling around with thinking about restoring these letters, colonial in there. But I'm not going to do that. I'm simply going to put a smaller rusty star right in there, and then that should serve, add some coordination with the other side. And I will, once again, I'll spray this side as well. So let me get those things glued up, and we can move. Well, we're back. I'm not sure where we left off. Actually, it's the next day. I did seal this piece, with Rust-Oleum clear seal. That's a joke. I had a guy in Lowe's the other day was asking the person who worked there if they had some sort of Rust-Oleum this particular paint, and I was cracking up behind my mask. But yeah, I know it is Rust-Oleum. Anyway, so I also did the back where I mentioned that I was going to put the smaller star here, and I did also seal the back. I did not, you know, I didn't spray this. That would be overkill. No reason to do that. Take away the charm of it. So yeah, I'm gonna call this done actually at this point. Happy with the way it came out. You know, it maybe hung on a wall like this. But yeah, that's it. We have the washboard American flag made out of buttons. The rusty dusty star, and of course the washboard. So 3 elements to this one. If and when I do sell this, I'll probably put $49 on it and see what happens. So anyway, until the next time, feel free to subscribe, thumbs up, all that stuff. Leave a comment if you have a question, something you would have done differently, and we'll see you next time. Rusty Dusty Picker.